This season on Yellowstone, the Dutton family faces their toughest challenge yet. A bunch of episodes without Kevin Costner. Will Beth hold on to the family ranch without Kevin Costner? Will Jamie take down his father's administration without Kevin Costner? And most importantly, will your dad watch it without Kevin Costner?
Where's John Dutton?
It's the TV event everyone is talking about, except Kevin Costner. The final season of Yellowstone. Don't miss it. Unless you're Kevin Costner.
Your Morning Blitz begins now.
Have a great Friday, you mother...
Oh, that starts the Friday out right.
Without Kevin Costner.
Without Kevin Costner. Did you watch it?
Oh, yeah.
And?
Oh, it's just great.
It's great. Even without Kevin Costner?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I'm not going to give any spoilers out if you haven't watched that first episode yet, but I saw a headline Monday, because we didn't watch it till Wednesday, because it had been almost 2 years since this season began.
Okay.
The last episode was actually on New Year's Day of 2023, so it was almost 2 years till it came back. And I saw where there was a news story about how Kevin Costner found out what happens to him right away in the show.
Okay.
In this first episode. So, and then I was like, well, I don't want to see that, because, and we didn't watch it right away because it had been so long. We wanted to go back. We thought about watching the whole thing. There were 7 episodes, I want to say. And we were going to watch them all, and we're like, I don't know if we need that. So we watched the last 3.
Okay.
Of just to get refreshed because it had been so long.
Set you back up.
Yeah. And then we finally watched the new one, and it was great. I mean, his daughter Beth is just a maniac, but she's like such a great character. You never watched it, right?
Nope.
So, yeah.
No.
Yeah. If you're looking for a show to binge sometime.
All right. Well, let me tell you about how my morning has worked out so far really quickly. I was trying to take a page out of your book, Thick, because you have eggs every morning. And I'm so hungry in here, and I do have a smoothie, and it's a decent-sized smoothie, and I know it has calories in it, but I'm still hungry.
Right.
So I'm like, you know what I'm going to do? Thick Rick eats eggs every morning, and I know it's supposed to be great for you, the protein. I'm going to hard-boil 2 eggs and bring them to work, and then I can eat them at my leisure, right? Well, I don't remember the last time I have hard-boiled an egg. So I looked it up, like how to hard-boil an egg. The first thing that came up on Google was perfect hard-boiled eggs every time. So I followed the directions.
Yeah.
Right. I brought them in this morning. They were so mushy and soft. I was like, almost like it turned my stomach, like how gross they looked.
Really?
So obviously I did something wrong.
Well, what did you do?
Here's what I did. I put the eggs in a pot, and I covered them in cold water.
Right.
Brought them to a boil.
Yeah.
Took them off the stove, and then let them sit for 10 minutes.
Oh.
That's what it said.
Oh.
Okay, what do?
You were right to begin
Up until
with.
taking it off the stove?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because then you turn it on simmer and cover it for like 15 more minutes.
Oh, no wonder they were gross.
Yeah.
Jeez, I'm going to report them to Google. They said I'd have a perfect hard-boiled egg. Where's the complaint? Where's the Google complaint department?
I've probably hard-boiled more eggs than anybody in history. If you know, you know.
Okay. Oh, gosh, you're right. I've never known someone who's boiled so many hard-boiled eggs.
If you know, you know. Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, you get it boiling, and then, put the top on the pot and
keep it on
to
simmer for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Good night. How could I go so wrong?
Just took them off and let them sit.
I was looking so far forward to these hard-boiled eggs. I was going to have a brain full of protein this morning, and now nothing.
But that sounds like what you do to have a soft-boiled egg.
Well,
and you're familiar with
soft-boiled,
that, right?
yeah.
Where the yolk's still soft and it.
It wasn't that soft, but it was kind of between soft and hard. It was really unappealing. Okay.
And you did that this morning?
I hard-boiled them yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Put them in the fridge once I thought they were done and brought them in this morning.
Well, right.
I know. Back to the old drawing board. I'll try it next week. I'll let you know how it goes.
Do it over the weekend.
Yeah.
Get it right.
Get it right. I'm going to practice.
You can do them tomorrow and bring them in every day next week. You could do a whole dozen.
Okay.
And then bring a couple in every day.
All
yeah,
right.
they're good for a week.
I might take your recommendation.
All right, we got Mike Tyson, Jake Paul tonight on Netflix.
Yes.
Looking forward to that. You know, we'll see how the circus goes. I don't know if it's anything like the press conference. It's not going to be very good.
Press conference was boring, though. The weigh-in yesterday was a little more exciting.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, they did a weigh-in, and then Jake Paul kind of he was sort of down on his hands and knees, crawling, and then he just went up and was going to face off with Mike Tyson, face to face.
Right.
He was crawling, and then he started sort of running toward Mike Tyson, got in his face, and Mike Tyson slapped the crap out of him.
Oh, no, I got to find this.
Oh,
I gotta
my
find
gosh.
this and watch this.
Yeah, it was a massive slap.
I already have Netflix, so I don't have to pay any extra.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how many people are in AT&T Stadium for this. Because I don't know how much Netflix paid them. I'm assuming it was a lot of money.
Yeah.
But it's not like you have all these pay-per-views you're collecting on.
Right.
So I assume any extra money, the only place they're going to get it is from ticket sales for the people going to the fight, other than what Netflix already paid them. So, but looking forward to it. I keep seeing things. I keep seeing this meme. Everybody keeps posting it. We may not agree on politics or religion, but we all agree that we want Mike Tyson to knock Jake Paul's ass out.
In the first round,
Yes.
I've seen, yes.
So can't wait for that. That'll be fun. We do have a new album from Linkin Park. They dropped the whole new album today. So I got a clip of a new tune
All right,
from them.
great.
We'll check out here coming up in a little bit. Right now, Morning Blitz Trivia. $25 to Waterbeds and Stuff and Beds and Stuff Superstores. Just be the first person to text in the correct answer at 99700. Sophie Turner is going to play a character in a new TV series based on what video game? So Sophie Turner set to play this character in a new TV series that's based on what video game? Tell us the game at 99700. If you're first, you'll get that $25 to Waterbeds and Stuff. Rise Against on the Morning Blitz at 6:24. Happy Friday. It's Kelly Quinn, Thick Rick, and Kelly, we got all kind of hard-boiled egg recipes flying in.
Yes, I love it. Now, I read the recipe to you, the one I followed, that was from Women's Health magazine.
Right. Yeah, Charlie said, that's what you did, Kelly. You made a soft-boiled egg.
It was kind of not soft-boiled, though. It was between soft and hard-boiled. And it was the most disgusting mush of egg. And both of them turned out that way. So, yeah, I appreciate everybody's tips. I'm going to definitely try it differently next time.
The one I found interesting, somebody had an Instapot recipe. 4 minutes cooking, 4 minutes natural release, 4 minutes soaking in cold water.
Oh, how about that? I don't have an Instapot, but it makes me want to buy one.
Oh, Travis said air fryer's best for hard-boiled eggs.
Now we're about 2 seconds from buying an air fryer.
Same here.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I don't know why I haven't yet. I really don't. I want a good one, though. I needed research. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I just haven't sat down and gone through and
I could put one in my Best Buy cart for you, and it can keep my Nintendo Switch company.
What are we coming up on 2 years with your Nintendo Switch and your cart now?
My cart.
It'll stay in there that long?
Yes, it will.
Wow.
Because I keep checking on it.
All right, so our Morning Blitz trivia question today, Sophie Turner, who was the brat from Game of Thrones, the Stark brat kid, right? That's Sophie, right?
Yeah, she's the one who married Joffrey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. She's going to play this character in an upcoming TV series about what video game? Move over, Angelina Jolie.
Uh-oh.
Tomb Raider's back, but this time it's a TV series. So she's going to play Lara Croft. And, the lead role. It's going to be a series on Amazon. I don't know do you know who Phoebe Waller-Bridge is?
I do. She starred in Fleabag.
Okay, she's writing and producing.
Okay.
So, I guess there was another one with somebody named Alicia Vikander.
Okay.
That played Laura Croft before. I didn't see that one. I saw the ones that Angelina Jolie was in. So I'm interested. I'll check it out. I like the video game, so I get it. I understand it. But you probably never played before, did you?
No.
Never played Tomb Raider.
Sounds cool, though.
A lot of people knew about it. Kevin from Pike County says Instapot is the best for hard-boiled eggs. And Mike's about the air fryer. So it sounds like those are both good options. You probably do better than what you ended up with.
Oh my gosh!
You got
it's
egg.
Fun. I think that what I saw inside my hard-boiled egg this morning is putting me off eggs for a little bit.
Pudding is what you saw.
Exactly.
Egg pudding. That makes Kelly gag every time she thinks about it.
Like I have a hard time anyway with eggs in certain. I do like a scrambled egg, I guess. If it's like really scrambled, it cannot be wet at all. It's got to be overly done.
Oh, really?
Yes. Eggs are one of those foods that, to me, I can really turn my stomach quickly. But I want to eat them because I know they're healthy.
Just mix one into your smoothie.
A raw one?
Yeah.
No, sir.
Why?
Because I don't. Do you think that I want to get some type of botulism or whatever you get from raw eggs?
I've been hearing that. I used to put raw eggs in milkshakes and everything else all the time. Never had a problem. You know, I think a bad egg's a bad egg, whether it's raw or whatever. And I've never had anything.
I'm going to get I'll get salmonella. Watch.
All right. Well, don't do it then. All right. Got to say congrats to Eric Everetts of Logan. He was the first one to text in Tomb Raider. So Eric is going to waterbeds and stuff with an extra $25.
It's the Morning Blitz.
And now it's time for I've Got Something.
Let's see if these dummies have anything worthwhile for us.
6:38, Friday edition of I've Got Something. I will tell you one thing that isn't part of my I've Got Something.
Okay.
Thursday, I'm looking at the forecast.
Yes.
That word snow is there.
No kidding, because I think we get up into the 60s at some point in the next couple days.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we're in the 60s.
Oh.
Then we're in the 50s on Wednesday. Then
And
Wednesday
Thursday,
night.
maybe
Wednesday night.
Wednesday night.
Yeah. We're going to get a mix. There'll be some snow. That'll just change to rain, and it'll get up to 45, and I don't even want to look beyond that.
Yeah, I guess end of the week, we're in the 40s for the highs.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's that time of year, you know.
Yeah.
So you're familiar, I'm sure, with the 5-second rule.
Yes.
What do you think about it?
I think it's great. I 5-second rule a lot.
Do you?
Heck yeah.
I would not do that with your runny egg.
No, if it's wet food, I don't need anything sticking to it. But if I drop a chocolate-covered peanut or something on the ground, that's an. I can let it lay there for a day and I'll still eat it.
Well, Dr. Zoe Williams heard about this rule and examined the rule, did a study on it and everything. I was like, really? We're going to do a study on the 5-second rule?
See what kind of crap attaches to your food once it hits the floor.
We can get it here.
There was a slight difference depending on the amount of time. So there is a thread of truth that the quicker you pick it up, the less contaminated it might be. But what they actually found was it depends more on the type of food.
Right. If it's sloppy or if it's dry.
So if it's high in sugar or salt, then bacteria find it less likely to contaminate it. So they found that a piece of ham didn't seem to get contaminated, but also whether the food is dry or wet.
Yeah.
There you go, Kelly.
Okay,
you were right.
Wet food.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm dropping a piece of ham on the ground, it's going in the trash because instantly, it picks up every little thing that's on the floor, right? Your kitchen floor, whatever's down there, whatever you're tracking through your kitchen.
Wet.
Any dog hair or anything? No thanks. But like I said, if a couple of chocolate-covered peanuts go rolling across the floor, I'll pick them up and eat them. What do I care?
Right.
I'll probably wipe it on my jeans or something.
I just, it's like I've been going by this rule since I was a kid, and somebody just now did a study on it. That's what I found amusing.
But you do have to make a determination. It has to be like a game time decision as to whether it's a food that you would be willing to eat off the floor.
Oh yeah, you kind of. I feel like you know that in a nanosecond.
Exactly.
I know.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah,
come here, give me that.
Yeah.
All right,
Exactly.
what you got?
Okay, the New York Yankees has given permission for the Tampa Bay Rays to play their home games next year at the Yankees' nearby spring training ballpark.
Oh, so that won't be fixed yet?
No, Tropicana Field was damaged by Hurricane Milton. We looked at the pictures. It was wild. Most of its fabric roof is completely shredded. There's water damage inside. And it's going to be about $56 million to repair, and it won't be ready until the 2026 season. So the Rays asked the Yankees, hey, would you mind if we used Steinbrenner Field in Tampa for their home games? And the Yankees said, absolutely. They're happy to help. Now, the interesting thing is Steinbrenner Field, which is the Yankees spring training ballpark, it's the biggest spring training ballpark in Florida.
Yeah.
But there are only 11,000 seats, so it'll be a very intimate view of Major League Baseball for those who end up getting tickets.
Feel like watching them at Huntington Park.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a small, it's like a minor league team, I guess, type situation. But I thought that was neat. And I guess George Steinbrenner's son, one of his sons, is an exec with the Yankees. And he was like, absolutely, no hesitation, you can use our field. We're happy to hand it over to you.
That's better than nothing.
I love that. Well, I mean, it just shows that you can be sporting opponents, but in the game of kindness, we can all get along. Did that make sense at all?
I tend to think it's the game of business, but okay.
Yeah, I know. How much do you think they're paying for Steinbrenner Field?
Oh, I don't know, but baseball as a whole needs people in their parks.
That's true.
So
and
it's good for
especially
business,
the Rays. I don't know are a lot of people going to the Rays games? I don't know. But
Yankees fans are everywhere, so George probably wants to be able to, the Yankees fans down in Florida, be able to get into those games when the Yankees.
That's true.
All right. Well, it'll be interesting. I thought sure they'd be able to have that stadium repaired by then.
No, they can't.
It must have been a mess.
So here's what I wonder is because Tropicana Field seats almost 43,000 people. They're going from that to 11,000. Have they already sold season passes?
Well, I mean, some people are, whoever was a season ticket holder always gets first dibs. So
they're going to have to lower that significantly. Who's offered season passes?
Probably have to do a lottery.
Yeah.
Or something.
Oh, well.
But
I thought it was nice, and I liked that story a lot.
And they don't expect it to even be fixed before the season's over next year.
No, they said the 2026 season is when it'll be ready to be used again, Tropicana Field.
Man, that sucks.
Yeah.
It is the Morning Blitz, 6:51 with Kelly Quinn and Thick Rick. Chevelle there. We will see them on the Sunday of Sonic Temple weekend. They will play just before Alice in Chains and Metallica on the main stage. So, Kelly, do you have any problem with the roundabouts?
I did when I first encountered one.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do. I don't think anybody does, really. I mean, you always have that first experience where you're really just trying to figure out what's happening.
Right.
But now I don't know. I mean, there is some confusion sometimes. You have to make sure you're in the right lane when you enter and exit.
Yeah.
Those are
if
the
it's
biggest,
2 lanes, yeah.
If it's 2 lanes. And a lot are just 1 lane. And
Right.
it's simple once you learn it, but there is a learning curve.
Yeah. If there's a car already in the roundabout and you're approaching the roundabout, you have to actually slow down and wait. Yeah, yield. Right. For that other car to go by. If you can get into the roundabout before that car's coming around, then you're fine. And these 2 guys, man, so there are still people who don't get it, but somebody posted this video. There was a big pickup truck, and it almost crashed into this car. The car was already in the roundabout, and he just comes flying into the roundabout and had to slam on his brakes, and then he got mad. Because he didn't know the rules. He did not understand the assignment. So I thought, oh my gosh, are they going to get in a big fight? No, they just debated it. So I was pleased with that, but here's part of it.
What are you honking at me for?
What the hell are you doing, dude?
Dude, that's not how that works. I have the straight. You were coming through here.
You have the yield, dude.
I don't have the yield. Everyone coming in has the yield.
You realize if I hit you, I would have just crushed your entire car, right?
There's nothing that I should have or could have done differently there. I didn't.
Check, you don't come straight across the intersection like that.
It's a roundabout.
It reminds me of the guys. Do you remember the guys who were fighting about Glinda, the Good Witch? Have you ever heard that fight?
No.
It's a super viral. It's pretty old.
No.
But this guy's like, what was it? She's a witch, bro. Like, he's like fighting hard about the Wizard of Oz and the witches. It reminds me of that fight. So the guy who barreled in as he tried to enter and tried to argue his case was basically his only argument was that he could have just obliterated that guy's car.
You know what I would have done to you?
Okay.
Well, that doesn't mean you have the right of way. Yeah, you're the bigger, badder truck. You would win in the fight, but that doesn't mean you have the right of way.
Yeah. There's a little learning curve, and I think, don't forget that when you encounter somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, because I know once we all know what we're doing, we like to really flip the bird at people who don't know what they're doing. But there's some learning that has to happen. Take it slow if you're not sure what you're doing, I guess.
Brett said in Rushville there's a roundabout that is opposite. You yield once you're in the roundabout. It's a freaking mess.
Oh, that's not right.
Right.
That isn't a proper roundabout.
No. Rushville did not understand the assignment.
And now, the 3 things you need to know before you go.
The Olentangy Orange High School principal is on administrative leave after sending a controversial post-election email to staffers. District officials have confirmed that Monica Asher has been asked to take time off the job as they investigate. Asher sent out a staff newsletter after the election and Donald Trump's victory and said she understands that staff and students are struggling with how to move forward. Now, after the email was made public, school board members released a statement saying that the political views in the message do not represent the official opinion of the Olentangy Schools Board of Education. Assistant Principal Ellie Ellis will serve as principal in the interim.
Nothing you can do, folks.
A California teenager is pleading guilty to making hundreds of swatting calls across the U.S. You can't believe a kid is capable of this much mayhem. But the Department of Justice, I know a young, thick Rick was capable of some mayhem in his day, and computer mayhem.
I was a hacker, man.
You were a hacker. It's the truth. The Deputy of Justice says 18-year-old Alan Fillion pleaded guilty to 4 counts of making interstate threats to injure the person of another. He could spend up to 5 years in prison for each count, and his sentencing is set for February. Fillion made over 375 swatting and threat calls between the end of 2022 and the beginning of 2024.
Wow. How old is he?
He's 18.
Oh, okay.
18 now. So,
right.
I mean, it started at the end of 2022. But in some of them, he claimed to have planted bombs in the locations and threatened to detonate them, or he threatened to conduct mass shootings.
Jeez.
But that was, a year full of threats this kid unleashed onto the United States.
My first exposure was the movie War Games.
Yes.
And I specifically remember in the movie when Matthew Broderick was asked by, what's her name, can't you get in trouble for that? He said, only if you're 18. Oh,
okay. So you really took that to heart.
I sure did.
What's the goal? To win the game. The long-awaited fight between boxing legend Mike Tyson and YouTube star Jake Paul happens tonight. Yeah. Netflix will stream the fight live from AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Weigh-ins were yesterday. Tyson at 233, Paul at 220. And
wait, say again.
Wait a minute. Is that right?
What Tyson weigh?
233.
Okay.
Tyson weigh in.
And Paul weighed 220. Okay.
Is that right?
I'm sure.
Okay, I just really want to talk about the slap heard around the world, but now I'm... Tyson weighs at 228.4. Okay,
I was going to rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal, most vicious, and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me.
All right, so let me see here. Here we go. I just want to make sure I have the weight right, but who cares, right? They're fighting.
Yeah,
it's close. Anyway, so yes, apparently they approached each other for the final stare down before tonight's fight, And I guess Jake Paul was kind of in a crawling stance, and then he darted forward and got up really close to Mike Tyson, and like a flash, Mike Tyson slaps the crap out of Jake Paul's face.
So quick.
I mean, and it's hard, too. And he leaves a red mark. So the two had to be separated by security, but I guess Jake Paul was sort of smack-talking after that.
That was so much better than the press conference the day before.
Yeah, the press conference, that was really boring.
Yeah.
You were like, oh, brother. I was just thinking Mike Tyson's like, I don't have time for this kid, you know?
I think, and then going into last night, Tyson's probably like, okay, he doesn't want me to be boring? Yeah. I won't be boring. I just can't believe how fast Tyson looks. And that was just another example, because I've watched some of his training videos, and it's just, the speed is insane, especially at his age and how long it's been since he was like, a serious fighter. And then to watch that slap, how quick he slapped him. I mean, his arm is just like a trail. You don't even see it. It's so fast.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting that tonight. I better get that tonight. Bad Flower on the Morning Blitz, 7:10. Kelly Quinn, Thick Rick, and we have a video. This is hilarious. I cannot believe how... Well, I do, because the guy's right. I understand why he's getting so passionate, because if I was playing a game with somebody and I felt like they were wrong, you know me, Kelly.
Firsthand, baby.
I would become very passionate defending my position. And that's exactly what this guy's doing.
Yeah, and apparently the context is they were playing the game Headbands, and one of them had the card Glenda, and the other one was supposed to describe, what was on the card so the guy could guess. So the word was Glenda, and he was saying princess, to describe Glenda.
Glenda the Good Witch?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so when they found out, when the other guy finds out that he was describing Glenda as a princess, he's like, no, Glenda was a witch.
Right.
And so that's when the argument started.
Hold on! This is my favorite. Hold on! Her sister was a witch, right? And what was her sister? A princess! The Wicked Witch of the East, bro!
I'm gonna stab him.
You're gonna look at me and you're gonna tell me that I'm wrong? Am I wrong?
It's my favorite
She
movie.
wore a crown and she came down in a bubble,
I'm not fighting with you.
Grow up, Grow up!
Get educated.
Well, wait a minute.
Grow up, bro.
Was the dude yelling, saying she was a princess?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, then he was wrong.
Yeah, the dude yelling says that she was a princess, and the other guy was like, no, she is the good witch.
Yes, she is a witch, not a princess. Yeah. She's just a good witch.
So that's at least a 6-year-old fight there, but it does rear its beautiful head every now and again.
So great.
Hold on! This is my favorite. Hold on! Her sister was a witch, right? And what was her sister? A princess! The Wicked Witch of the East, bro!
Yeah.
You're gonna look at me and you're gonna tell me that I'm wrong? Am I wrong?
It's my favorite
She
movie.
wore a crown and she came down in a bubble, dog!
That is great. They had to be drinking, right? He had to be drinking.
Yeah, I'm sure. I love the passion.
I know. She came down in a bubble, bro. Fantastic. Sublime on the Morning Blitz, 7:22 with Kelly Quinn, Thick Rick. Happy Friday. Not going to see any sun, but at least it's Friday. Nothing but like clouds as far as you can see in the forecast. We'll get up to 54 today, 49 now. And everybody has their moment when they have to go to YouTube and figure out how to fix something, and they have to watch a video. I know on my old boat, my starter went out. I'm like, oh, man. So I went. It was going to be like $800 for the new one and to get it put in and everything. And they had a used one. I said, let me have the used one. I got it for like $125. Went home, went on YouTube. Took me about 10 minutes to put this starter in and worked perfect. I was ecstatic.
Yes.
Went from $800 to $125.
Yes.
And they would have had it longer than it took me to do it. You know?
Doesn't it feel so good?
Would have been without my boat for a week, probably.
I mean, you can ride on that high for a while, can't you?
Yeah. And I love it that you had your moment.
I had my moment this week. I went out to my mom's garage, and I noticed the parking lights on her car were fluttering, and I was like, uh-oh, I bet the battery's dead. And sure enough, absolutely 100% dead, this battery. So I was like, well, rather than call AAA to deal with it, I thought, I have jumper cables. I'm going to at least try to jump this thing. So I was going to put the car in neutral and roll it out of the garage, but I could not get the gear shift out of park. With the battery dead, I guess that's pretty common, that there's no override.
Okay.
So I was like, how do I get this thing into neutral? Like, even if I was going to call AAA, how are they going to get this car into neutral?
Like it wouldn't start, but you put the key in and turned it.
It still would not go into neutral. It was locked in park.
Okay.
So I got on YouTube, and sure enough, there's a ton of videos on how to get your car out of this locked park position. And so I watched one of the videos. I had to pry open the little panel with the park reverse neutral, the PRND on it.
Oh, really?
I pried that off, and then inside there's like this little white plastic piece that you can push forward with a screwdriver, and it unlocks that shift, so I could shift it down to neutral.
Literally jimmying it.
Yes.
You jimmied it open.
So that was successful. I rolled this, I had my mom get behind the wheel. We rolled it out of the garage, and I was able to get my car around close enough so that I could begin the jump process. Now, the problem is I don't know how to jump a car because I have the cables.
Right.
But so I was like, well, gotta go to YouTube again. So I went to YouTube and I watched a couple videos and then read a step-by-step just so I knew the order in which to put the cables on each battery and to keep the jumper cables from touching each other and grounding and all that stuff. Problem is my cable, or not my cables, but my battery there, it's kind of corroded.
Oh,
so I had to get some like Coke and like.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, Coca-Cola.
Why are your battery cables corroded?
I think they're leaking. I need a new battery.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, so I had to go through that. But my whole process, which it ended up being successful, I was elated that I managed to do this without calling AAA. It showed me that I need a new battery, which is one great thing that came out of it. Now, it took me a little over an hour for all this to actually become successful. I mean, it was painstaking for me. It wasn't a quick job, but after maybe about an hour, 10 minutes, my mom's car was running. I drove it around for a while, put it back in the garage, then went back and started it again, and it's fine.
Love it.
And I tell you, I was so proud of myself. It put me in it put me in a great mood the rest of the day. I was like, I did it. Kelly, you did it.
Kelly.
So I was like, don't stop me now. I'm having such a good time. I'm having a ball.
Don't stop me now. I'm having such a good time. I'm having a ball.
You're dancing out there, weren't you?
Look what
Look what I did.
So I was so happy about it. And I thought, you know what? We should pat ourselves on the back for our successful repairs of things that we thought maybe you'd have to call a repairman in, but you didn't.
Yeah.
You did it on your own. And so I just want to give you an opportunity to brag about what you fixed on your own without having to call a repairman in.
Lisa said, thanks to YouTube, I changed the water pump and a few other things on my trunk. Tried to change the brakes, but had to call a buddy for help. Turns out I was trying to turn the caliper bolt the wrong way.
But still,
it's
that's
the
so
simple
great.
things.
It's, you managed to do it without having to, without having to call anybody in. I love it.
Carrie said, very impressive, KQ. My lazy ass would have called AAA.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I thought about it. Trust me. And that was going to be my second resort. But Doug says, never, ever hook the cables to your nipples until they've been grounded. That's what Doug Rogers said.
YouTube's a great resource. One time I was working on a car, had taken the serpentine belt off, couldn't remember how to put it back on, and was really stressed out about it. Went to bed that night, dreamed how to do it, woke up and walked straight out there and put it back on first try.
I love it. And so you managed to do what was it that you were married your
serpentine belt?
Yours, your boat.
Oh,
fix.
the starter.
The starter.
And the motor. Yeah, and I was really nervous because I'm taking this motor apart. I'm undoing these big long bolts and pulling this out.
You're getting into the guts of it.
Oh God, this is not. I hope this goes well. And it put it all back in. First time on the lake, started right up, ran great, and bam.
How about this? Somebody just texted, with the help of YouTube and a nice guy from Columbia Gas, I was able to replace the thermocoupler on our water heater when it went bad. Saved us thousands of dollars on a new water heater.
Wow. Yeah.
Awesome. You deserve a round of applause for that.
YouTube has been great. There are a couple things I wouldn't touch even with the video, but once you do one like that, then you're not afraid anymore.
Yes, that's true.
You have faced your fear.
Greg texted, Kelly, you're such a babe. Good job. Now, Greg, if you would have just seen video of the just foul language that was coming out of my mouth during that hour when I was being unsuccessful at every turn until the end, you might not feel the same way, but yeah. No, only a couple. I only said 2 cuss words the whole time. That's pretty good. Right?
Yep.
Growing up and going to Fenway Park and being around baseball, and as I got older, I had an opportunity to go see the Cubs play in Wrigley, and just the surrounding area, the restaurants that are in the area. It's just got a great vibe there, right in that neighborhood, and it's a very unique place with an unbelievable history. I'm also excited for Buckeye Nation to get to the game and the fans to be there as well and experience that. And it is different. It's a different feel, but it's a great opportunity for our team. And ultimately, there'll be 100 yards of football field, and we'll compete. So, we're excited about it.
Football Friday, Kelly Quinn, Thick Rick, Hall of Fame legend Jeff Logan as we get set for Ohio State to take on Northwestern. That's number 2, Ohio State. And they're on the road, but not in Northwestern's usual place. They'll be playing at Wrigley Field. Game kicks off at noon on the Big Ten Network. Mostly sunny, I-55, Jeff.
That beats the devil out of where we were a couple years ago. Do you remember going up there?
Yes.
And the winds were 40 to 50 miles an hour. Woo. And C.J. Stroud had his worst game from a statistical standpoint, but he actually ran the ball effectively in the game. Ohio State, I think, wins 21-7 in that game, but it was not a pretty game by any stretch. The wind, high winds at O'Hare Airport that day were in the 50 to 55 mile an hour sustainable.
Gosh.
There were guys warming up in punts where they would hit the punt and it would go behind them. That is not a good thing.
I remember that. Yes,
that is not a good thing.
So crazy.
So while we're not going to have the weather issue this year, we are going to have a little bit of a difference in a change of venue.
It's a baseball stadium.
It truly is.
It's like there's an end zone issue, isn't there?
Yeah. Have you looked at the picture?
Gosh, yes.
Yeah. On one of the end zones, there is the home run wall. I don't know how better to explain it. That comes right up near the sideline, maybe a yard or 2 off of the playing field. And in that corner of the end zone, and how many times do we see these acrobatic plays with guys barely getting their foot in and they're, right in the back of the end zone? That's going to limit. Now, both teams have to play in the same circumstance, so it's not like it's unfair. But it would limit somewhat your play calling. That becomes part of the defense.
Right.
You're going to have to moonwalk.
They'll never throw it over there.
Yeah, you'll have to moonwalk into the end zone.
Could you imagine?
Don't, break your neck.
But what a great experience for these young men. No, seriously.
Yeah.
To be able to go play in an iconic stadium.
That's right.
Like Wrigley Field. And years ago, this is where the Bears played.
Yeah.
Before there was a Soldier Field.
Yeah.
So it's not like this isn't or hasn't been done before.
Oh, yeah, there's been a few that...
But it's going to be a new experience. Yeah. The reason it's happening, if you don't already know, guys, is that, Thick, you mentioned they're redoing their stadium, Ryan Field. Mm-hmm. They're I think they're putting a million or a $100 million or $200 million into this new stadium, and it won't be available until 2026. So next year they will have the same kind of a circumstance up there. This is only the first game for Northwestern, though, in Wrigley Field this year, and they will play their last game against Illinois in Wrigley Field as well. The other games have been played at a practice facility on Lake Michigan that seats about 7,000 people.
Oh, really?
Yes. And you know what? 7,000 people is about all that cares about going to see Northwestern play. So under most weeks, that's a good thing. However, this week, obviously, with the travel of the Buckeye Nation, they will consume Wrigley Field.
Yeah, we would have more than 7,000 seats bought.
No question.
Just the road fans.
Just the ones that were allotted.
Right.
And then you go to the open market, the secondary market, and it's not by mistake that they decided to move the Ohio State game.
Oh, of course.
To Wrigley Field, because this is their home game.
Yeah.
This is a revenue game for them.
Absolutely.
And if they can sell out, if they were bringing Purdue in here, do you think there would be anybody show up at Wrigley Field to see Purdue play Northwestern? Yet they'll be hanging from the rafters to be able to see Ohio State play.
So how many people can get in for this?
41,000.
41,000
is what they're able to do for football. And weather is supposed to be decent. Not those high winds. We're not going to have rain or snow or anything else. So there won't be anything to complain about. Guys, the real interesting part about this is if we go back a week ago against Purdue, and that was a absolute resounding, totally dominating victory over the Boilermakers. But the one thing you got to notice is that there were multiple and wholesale substitutions in this game from the very beginning. And I think Ohio State approached this game almost like a spring game in which they were trying to get a lot of guys into the game, see what they would do at high speed in games that are full go, because you can't practice anymore with full physical contact. They don't do it like they used to do because there's so much risk of injury, and the depth problem becomes such an issue with your limited roster. So this was an opportunity for them to have what turned out to be like the spring game. And we saw some formations. We saw some play calls that were totally different.
Loved it.
Than anything we've all seen all year. And you think, well, why would they bring this stuff out against Purdue? Well, the reason for that is they want to see it on tape.
Yeah, see how it works.
Got to practice it.
They were using Purdue as a science experiment. It was. You remember the days of chemistry when you would go in and if you mix this with that, it's going to do this.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you mix this with that, and oh my gosh, there's an explosion. That's basically what Chip Kelly was doing.
Well, they got an A+.
They did get an A+. It all looked pretty good.
I do think we still need to work on some things. You know, as I'm watching teams last weekend, they just look so crisp, like perfect execution. Although Indiana looked human against Michigan.
Yes, they did.
So I like that. But we need to be at our best from here out. We're at the point now. We got 3 regular season games left, the Big Ten championship and the playoffs.
You know, I think what you have to look at right now, and even though this is a game that Ohio State is a 28.5 point favorite in, the playoffs begin tomorrow.
Yeah, they really do.
I mean, literally the playoffs begin tomorrow. What I mean by that is, if you win, you're in. I mean, Ohio State 100% controls their own destiny, and not many programs in the country can sit there in week 10 and say that they control their own destiny. Because if Ohio State wins out in the regular season, and that means beating the Northwestern, Indiana, and the team up north, then they will go into the Big Ten championship against Oregon. So we'll see a rematch of that game.
In Indianapolis.
All right? Yes. Win out, go into the playoffs.
Yep.
But literally, you lose this game this Saturday, which would now 20 years ago, Ohio State went up there with a pretty good football team and lost in overtime to Northwestern. And you may recall that a couple of Upper Arlington kids, Simon Frazier, was a senior on that team, and his high school teammate Jeff Backus was a senior on that Northwestern team, and it was an iconic win for the Northwestern football program. And today, after a little bit of an NFL career for Simon Frazier, both of these guys go to medical school. Both of them do surgical residencies. Both of them are practicing physicians here in Central Ohio. Simon Frazier's a vascular surgeon. Who in the world would want a defensive end operating on that, right? I mean, think about that. And then Jeff Backus is an orthopedic surgeon here in town as well. So a terrific story between those two guys. And I remember covering their games when they were in high school, and 2 great families and 2 great kids. And, Backus has got a kid that's playing for Upper Arlington right now. They're still in the playoffs. So you talk about getting old fast. But that 20 years doesn't seem like 20 years ago.
So I just found out something this week during Ryan Day's press conference. I had no idea that they've got our former Buckeye running back, Maurice Clarett, hanging out with the team and just, bringing his experience in.
Yeah.
And Ryan Day's all about it.
I have a lot of respect for Maurice and where he's come in his life. This is somebody to me who, has helped out other programs. He's done a great job with UConn basketball. And he's a guy that I like having around our players. I like talking to him. I love his mindset. He brings a toughness, a seriousness, and a credibility with our players that I think gives us an edge. And I like having him around our program. I got a lot of respect for the things that he's been through and overcome and the success he's having in his life now. And again, I think he's an asset to our program. And so, he comes, once a week, he'll come around and watch some practice and then come to the games. And I think our guys have really, latched on to him.
How about that?
Yeah, it's interesting. Before the game last weekend, we were walking from our radio site where we do our pregame show over at the Point on Lane Avenue to the press box. And there goes Maurice Clarett by us. And I got to be honest with you, I don't know him personally.
Right.
We never spent any time together, but he's recognizable. Mm-hmm. And I mentioned to the rest of our radio group there, I said, Maurice, interesting. I had no idea that he was involved with the team. But as I understand, he comes to practice once a week and is there on game day. And he's there simply as a player liaison, if you will, that the players can go to him if there are issues that they need to deal with. And let's face it, I mean, he was in prison. He had gun charges. There were all kinds of things that were going on, and his life could have gone one way or another. All right. And he chose to take, at the Y in the road, he chose to take the right path.
Yeah.
And, he has put, himself in a good position to help other people. He didn't go Art Schleister on us, where where it continues to be a problem.
Yeah.
Here's a young man that played the game at a very high level for Ohio State. We owe an awful lot to him for that national championship year in his freshman season. There were some remarkable plays that he was involved in, and now he's paying back, which I think is great.
One of the biggest plays in the history of our team when he took back the fumble.
The strip, yes, where he stripped
took it back from Sean Taylor.
Yeah, it was almost like Igbenogsen's interception.
Yes.
Where did that come from?
Wow, that was incredible.
That was wild when you see plays like that come up, thinking back to the Penn State game. But Ohio State in preparation, this is not a great Northwestern football team by any stretch. It will be on the Big Ten Network. All right, you know how to get there, Kelly.
I think so. Yeah.
Right. At least it's not
BTN, right?
Yeah,
that's what I look for.
But at least it's not on Peacock.
Yeah.
Where you get that streaming breakups and everything else. This will be the 7th game of the season that Northwestern has been featured on the Big Ten Network.
Okay.
That's like the C team gets Northwestern. Well, Ohio State had one game earlier this season on the Big Ten Network. I think it was the Western Michigan game. That was that evening game, that 8:30 or 8 o'clock game that we played.
I don't understand that.
Well, and people are whining about all these noon kickoffs at the end of the season.
Yeah, they're upset.
Boo.
And it's
great.
It's the party crowd. It's the tailgate crowd. It's all that stuff going on. I think it's wonderful. I really do.
Do they know they're allowed to party after the game and celebrate?
Yeah, I know.
You can wake up at 6 a.m. and start, bro.
I've done it.
Yeah. The only people, the only legitimate complaint I have out there are some of our West Coast Buckeye fans, and there's a lot of them, because that becomes a 9 a.m. for them. All right. And a 3:30.
Bloody Marys.
Yeah,
I
know.
had a Bloody Mary at 9 a.m.
A 3:30 kickoff for them would be beneficial, obviously.
Yes. Yeah.
But what are you going to do when Fox is paying what they pay for these games? You're going to play when they tell you to play.
Yeah.
And Ryan Day was asked about this week in his press conference, and he says, "Guys, we have no control over this. I just show up where they tell me to show up, and we will go play ball. That's what it's all about."
Man. Well, they deal with this with their pro teams. I mean, if you're, San Francisco or Seattle, the Chargers and the Rams, I mean, they play 1 o'clock games out there.
I know.
I mean that are here at 1 o'clock here, and they're starting out there at 10.
Well, this will be an 11 a.m. kickoff Chicago time. All right. So what Ohio State will do in this situation is they will keep everybody on the same schedule that they normally go on, meaning that they do their pregame meal 5 hours before kickoff. So if we've got a noon kickoff in Ohio Stadium, they're doing the pregame meal at 7 o'clock here in Columbus.
Okay.
You got an 11 a.m. kickoff there.
So it's 6.
Do the math.
Yeah.
They're going to be 1 hour earlier. And these guys are adaptable. This isn't going to be a big deal. This makes, people get all wound up about, well, they're going to be sleepy. And no, this is what you do. You get up. And I think the players
sleepy
will love this, being able to go get your business done.
Yeah.
Get back on the airplane, get back to Columbus, and still have an evening where you'll be able to spend with family and friends.
And you can celebrate.
I think it works pretty well. Hey,
I was going to say, one thing I love about this team, they are a very disciplined team. And I say that because they are only averaging 4 penalties a game, Jeff.
That's remarkable.
That is fantastic, man. My Dallas Cowboys could learn a thing or two from these guys. They're completely the opposite in Dallas.
And that's one of those things that certainly has become an issue, in past years. But penalties and turnovers are what you kind of hear every week going in. We want to limit the turnover. We want to limit the number of penalties. And the fact that Ohio State went over to Penn State and had very few penalties in that environment because of the communication issues and the noise is pretty remarkable. So what you don't want to see are the stupid penalties. All right, you'll have some interference from time to time, and I'd rather have an interference call if a guy gets beat than to give up the touchdown.
Yeah.
All right.
Right. Yeah.
But the football team is playing terrific from that standpoint. Let me give you some numbers. I mean, going in that I think are pretty impressive. Mostly defense I want to talk about because Ohio State is now ranked number 1 in total defense in the country. Their red zone defense is number 2. First downs allowed by the defense is number 1 in the country, and scoring defense is number 2. You can't do much better than that, guys.
I don't know how you do.
If we look on the offensive side, the Buckeyes on offense are 11th in the country in scoring offense, number 2 in the Big Ten, and that's trailing Indiana, which has an off week this week. By the way, Northwestern had a bye week in preparation for Ohio State. Indiana has a bye week in preparation for Ohio State.
So they're off tomorrow, huh?
Yeah. So Indiana folks will be tuned in watching this game on the Big Ten Network. I can promise you that.
Yeah. They definitely cannot look ahead to Michigan. They have to be
Ohio
focused
State,
on Indiana.
No doubt about
week,
it. And Michigan and Indiana had their game last week. Right. You referenced it at the beginning. And, it was a game that, quite frankly, Michigan could have won.
Yes, absolutely.
Had they not mismanaged the clock at the end of the game, Sharon Moore may be I think he's a hands down winner of the worst coach of the year award because he was just a deer in the headlights look over there. Had no idea how to do clock management at the end of a game.
Oh.
And it'll come. If they give him enough time, he'll learn eventually. But you talk about asleep at the switch. I mean, they're not only a bad football team without a quarterback, they've got no leadership at the top.
Jeff, I'll tell you, and I say this all the time, and I know it might sound funny, but because I deal with this, again, with the Cowboys and their coach, terrible clock management from Mike McCarthy. Football coaches, if they want to get good, I know this is going to sound silly as hell, but if they want to get good at clock management, all they got to do is play Madden. If you play Madden, you will learn how to manage that. You just keep playing. Because you can set up and just keep playing 2-minute warnings.
Sure.
I'm serious. You can set up, I got 1 timeout, 2 minutes. They should play. And then they keep going through scenarios, and it'll eventually just be ingrained.
Well,
I can score 3 touchdowns in the last 2 minutes.
These coaches all talk about analytics and the fact that they've got the card that tells them specifically what do you do in the third and this with this many timeouts or whatever the case might be. And they get to the point where it happens, and I don't know what they do with the card.
Yeah.
Because all they do is pee down their leg. I mean, they just freeze.
But they look at it and go, "No, I'm not doing that.
Not doing that."
Yeah.
It's
just a gut feeling.
It's just it's crazy. Sometimes they think with their heart instead of their head, or vice versa, or they get that thing behind them in the way. It just gets a little bit crazy. So, convincing win last week, 45-0.
Yeah.
What were our picks last week, Thick?
Well, let's see. You had it 52-13 Buckeyes. Kelly had it 52-3. I had it 49-0.
Oh,
boy, good call.
Won that handily.
About time you got back in the mix.
Yes.
You've been a little quiet here this year, at least the last month or so.
Well, yeah. Let's see. Week 2 was the last time I won.
Come on.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, good for you.
All right,
Did
so
you get first pick?
Yeah.
28.5 points.
Yep.
This game has historically been a little bit closer
Not this time.
All right.
We're going to cover. I want to see great execution and no turnovers, and we win 42-7. I'm going to give them a touchdown.
All right. Buckeyes will get 37 in this game. Mm-hmm. Weird number, but 37. And it'll be 10 on the other side for the Wildcats.
Wildcats?
Okay, well, I'm wildly off from you guys. 56-6 Buckeyes.
Wow.
And also, Josh texted in, do you, Jeff, have a prediction on the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul fight?
If it goes more than 3 rounds, Mike Tyson's in trouble. At 58...
That's a great call.
At 58 years old.
Yeah.
All right? And I'm not a boxing fan by any stretch.
Right.
But
that's where you're right.
There's things you cannot do at 58 that you did at 28. And boxing, I would think.
Yeah.
I don't care how much you've trained or anything else.
He looks so fast in training.
I know.
Oh, my gosh.
Well,
he can smack like nobody's business. If you saw the weigh-ins yesterday.
Yeah, well, it's a flurry of stuff that better happen quick for him.
Yeah.
Because if it goes more than 3 rounds, I think he'll be gassed.
Good call.
All right.
Thank you, sir. We'll talk to you again next week. And go Bucks.
And now, the 3 things you need to know before you go.
Well, you may remember back in August, Circleville placed its acting deputy police chief and another officer on leave pending investigations into what they called critical misconduct. Well, now, Sergeant John Farrelly and Officer Jacob Ferguson have been fired for sexual misconduct. Now, as far as I can tell, Sergeant Farrelly became sexually involved with a person he was investigating, and this is alleged by police. He became sexually involved with a person he was investigating. This person then accused him of inappropriate behavior while on duty. So he was ordered not to contact this person again. But multiple witnesses say they saw him parked near this person's home, doing multiple drive-bys this person's home, and giving the person a ride home, completely ignoring the order. Now, he says, hey, I never had sex with this person in my cruiser, but he did admit to having sex with someone else in his work vehicle.
Oh, wow.
And then as for the other Officer Ferguson, apparently a woman accused him of showing her pictures of his wee-wee, which is frowned upon as an officer of the law. So we just went ahead and got rid of both of those guys. President-elect Trump is nominating Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to lead the Department of Health and Human Services. The president-elect released a statement saying Americans are being crushed by the industrial food complex and drug companies who engage in deception, misinformation, and disinformation about public health. He said Kennedy will restore health agencies to the traditions of gold standard scientific research and beacons of transparency to end the chronic disease epidemic and to make America great and healthy again.
Sounds good.
It sounds good, yes. Well, listen, for the baseball fan in your life, I mean, this is like a really cool opportunity for a Christmas gift. The Cleveland Guardians are selling retired Progressive Field seats. So you have to buy them in pairs. $300 a pair, and you can only get one pair. Limit one pair per person.
All right.
You also have to pick them up. They will not deliver. And they say you definitely need 2 people to carry these bad boys to your vehicle, and none of their staff can help you. So you better bring someone along for pickup. But a portion of the proceeds will benefit Cleveland Guardians charities, and you can go to cleguardians.com/retired seats to purchase yours.
Very cool.
Yeah, those are your 3 things.
Star set on the Morning Blitz, 8:09. Kelly Quinn, Thick Rick on a Friday with a brand new album from Linkin Park. It's called From Zero, dropped today, of course, with their new singer Emily Armstrong, who was in Dead Sarah. And, we've heard a few songs from it so far, but just found this new one. It's called Two-Faced. And it's about coming to the realization that you might not be on the same page with your partner, but it's your partner's fault.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not seeing eye to eye, and it's on you, not me. It's your fault kind of deal. And, Emily gets really, really passionate in part of this, where she's saying, stop yelling at me. And it reminds me of when Chester's yelling, shut up when I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of that. So just wanted to give you a little taste of that. Great breakdown coming up in this.
The truth's not rigid, the rules aren't fair, the dark's too vivid, the light's not there. I start to give in, but I can't bear to put it all behind. I run into it blind like
like it.
I don't know how you could criticize that. It's excellent, and it sounds like Linkin Park.
Yeah. I love they still use the scratching.
She's amazing. That sounds so good. I love it.
We will see it. They will headline Saturday of Sonic Temple weekend. I can't believe that happened. That's all I kept saying. We have to have Linkin Park, and finally. So, yep, little taste of that from Zero, the brand new album. It is out today.
It was a cold November night. I was holding my honey tight, and she said she had something to show me to make me swoon. She took me outside, and she showed me the beaver moon.
Do we have a beaver moon this month?
Tonight.
All right.
Yeah, it's the full moon of November, is known as the beaver moon.
And she showed me.
Yeah, I don't think he was looking up at the sky, though. All right, so, man, these stupid scammers.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know, I guess they're doing their job where whatever country they're in and whatever crap they're shoveling. For me, I get a lot of the you're going to make your cable bill cheaper.
Or your what did you pay for your last gas bill or whatever?
I get those people at the door.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they want to stay, and they say, I can save you a ton of money. I just need to see a copy of your last bill. And I'm like, and I always look at them and say, we were told if anybody asks to see our bill, we should call the police. And they're like, oh, really? And they start looking around, and then they leave real fast. It's hilarious.
Nobody does that in Licking County because they know we all have door-side rifles.
Yeah, they do. They also don't want to walk a quarter mile between homes.
That's true. That's true. It's too much effort. I don't want to put a lot of effort into my scamming.
So this is great. A company in the UK has created the AI grandmother bot. And all she does is talk to phone scammers and waste their time.
Oh.
This is brilliant.
It is because they love to scam elderly people.
Oh, yeah. And her name is Daisy.
Aw.
And she goads phone scammers into, just
wasting their days.
Conversations and stuff. And I think it could be effective because, like you just mentioned, older people are the ones who get targeted the most. And, if the scammer's able to hang on long enough to insist on getting personal information, like bank details or whatever, then Daisy just makes up fake information.
Oh, okay.
It's so great. It isn't something you can get by. The company that created it is a mobile phone operator, and they put numbers leading to Daisy on a lot of lists that scammers use for leads.
Oh, I gotcha. So I couldn't buy the service, but they just have her connected to a bunch of numbers that might be called by scammers. Okay,
yeah.
Okay, I got it.
So it's not in America yet, but they're hoping that it takes off and then it comes to America. But I do have a sample of Daisy talking to actual scammers, and man, these scammers start getting upset. This is great.
So W is then a dot.
3 times W and then dot.
I think your profession is bothering people, right?
I'm just trying to have a little chat.
It's nearly been an hour.
Gosh, how time flies. It's showing me a picture of my cat, Fluffy.
It's showing you the picture of your cat, Fluffy.
Stop calling me dear, you stupid.
Got it, dear.
Got it, dear.
Because while they're busy talking to me, they can't be scamming you. And let's face it, dear, I've got all the time in the world.
Right.
Oh, that's great. I love it.
The AI grandmother bot.
Anything helps.
Oh, my gosh. I just want to listen to those calls all day because those people are getting angry.
It's showing me a picture of my cat, Fluffy.
And he's asking her back. It's showing you a picture of your cat, Fluffy.
Oh, God.
I can't get enough. Yeah, really. And I think these are going to be big videos on YouTube and TikTok. People will be playing these things, man.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I'm ready for I want my own AI grandmother bot.
Me too.
I want it now. Judas Priest on the Morning Blitz, 8:37. That's Kelly Quinn. I'm Thick Rick. Welcome to the weekend. Although it's not going to be very warm or sunny. Cloudy and the high of 54 today.
Still a weekend, though, baby.
Yeah, I'll take it. So the Toy Hall of Fame, they add, toys every year, just like the Football Hall of Fame adds players, and the Baseball Hall of Fame, and, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame adds, artists.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, going into the Toy Hall of Fame,
My Little Pony, My Little Pony.
My Little Pony.
Finally, we all wondered when it would happen.
The bronies are celebrating everywhere.
Yes.
Jeez. And then this one, well-deserved.
The Transformers, more than meets the eye.
Love the Transformers.
Autobots wage their battle to destroy the
My wife could care less. She makes fun of my love of the Transformers, and I don't care.
Hey, that was a cool toy. Still is.
Still is. Great show. Great movies. Love it all. And then a card game I've never heard of called Phase 10.
Oh, I've never heard of that either.
Came out in 1982.
Huh.
I know nothing about this game. Phase 10?
Phase 10.
The heck is that?
Sounds pretty good if it's going into the Hall of Fame.
Is it still around? Maybe it came and went in a 10-year period or something? I don't know. I've never heard of Phase 10.
Oh, they still sell it, baby.
Okay. What is it? I mean, what is it about? What is it?
It says Phase 10 is based on a variant of Rummy.
Okay.
Consists of a special deck equivalent to 2 regular decks of cards and can be played by 2 to 6 people.
All right.
It's basically Rummy.
Okay. Interesting. Check out what didn't get in. That was nominated but didn't get voted in this year. These are like the bands that don't get into the Rock Hall. Apples to Apples and Sequence. I've never heard of Sequence.
I love Apples to Apples, though. Isn't that a great game?
Is
it's
cool.
fun.
Yeah. I can't believe this is not in. Pokemon.
Oh, that's in the future, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's got to go in. Choose Your Own Adventure game books.
Oh,
I remember those. Hess Toy Trucks. Remote control vehicle. So RC's not in yet? That's insane to me. Those have been around forever. The Stick Horse, a.k.a. Hobby Horse.
Mm-hmm.
Trampolines. Trampolines not in the Hall of Fame yet?
Well, you can't put them all in at once.
I know,
You got to parse it out over the years.
I don't want any of this stuff to die and have to go in posthumously. And Plain Old Balloons didn't make it in. So, last year it was baseball cards, Cabbage Patch Kids, the Fisher-Price Corn Popper. I remember that thing. And Nerf. Those were the ones that went in last year. So I guess we're only doing 3 this year. But what I want to know is, balloons would probably fall into this category. They were a great toy for poor kids. We played with all kinds of random items. I mean, a good stick when I was a kid, that was a sword or a bow staff.
Yeah.
Dirt. Dirt was a big thing. We built cities for our Hot Wheels out of, we'd go play in the dirt and build up mountains and build big garages inside the mountain for our Hot Wheels. And we didn't do anything else, stuff like that. What I want to know is, what would you put in the Poor Kids Toy Hall of Fame?
Okay, this might not be politically correct, okay? But all I'm saying is if someone in your family ever broke a leg or an ankle or something, and then you had those crutches left over after they were healed, buddy, playing with crutches is just, it was so, it was fun. You try to you're launching yourself forward on these. So I'm saying,
all right.
Not to be mean, because I know people
fair.
need them
That's
regularly.
fair.
But I'm saying that as a kid, and you see a spare pair of crutches,
right?
Oh yeah, any cardboard box, man.
A cardboard box,
giant
absolutely.
refrigerator box,
absolutely.
Bubble wrap. I mean, there's
Bubble
all
wrap.
kinds of good stuff.
I will tell you, one of my favorite that would go into the Poor Kids Toy Hall of Fame. Simple garden hose.
Oh yeah.
You didn't have to pay anything for that.
Yep.
Turn on the water.
Hey,
all kind of things you could do with that.
One of our favorites, I have 2 younger sisters, and one of our very favorite ththings to do as kids, we had this jumbo Old Maid card set.
Oh, really?
And they're $5, still to this day. You can get a good, $5 for Old Maid.
Uh-huh.
I love Old Maid. That was so fun. I will never forget. I saw in the set that we used as kids on eBay for $20 or something. I'm about ready to buy it because the cards are just so familiar. I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot all about Go Go Gertie. She was one of the cards.
Yeah. That's right. I remember Go Go Gertie.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you guys think should go in the Poor Kids Toy Hall of Fame? The Mighty Met, the Morning Blitz, Friday. It's Kelly and Rick at 8:49. We're talking about the Toy Hall of Fame that put in My Little Pony, Transformers, and the card game Phase 10 this year. By the way, we got several texts from people who can't believe we've never heard of Phase 10. They love the game and say it's fantastic.
Oh, I'll have to try that.
So Phase 10, yeah. But we want to know what would go in the Poor Kids Toy Hall of Fame. Kelly and I talked about a couple things: a great stick, dirt, garden hose. What was
leftover crutches?
Somebody said crutches also make a great air guitar.
Yeah,
yes. And they do. Yeah, that's very true. So just a cardboard box.
Anthony texted, growing up poor as S in the country, we love to go out and hit walnuts with sticks or go play all day in the woods and in the creek. Sticks, rocks, and water is some of the best memories of my youth.
Oh, I love the creek. Loved running around in a creek, man. That was the best. John said my finger made a great gun. Yeah,
finger guns.
Finger guns, man.
Eldon,
I got you.
Eldon says, no, you didn't. Yeah, that was always a big debate.
Yes.
Whether you actually got someone
with your finger gun.
Yeah. Eldon says, I grew up on a farm, so we always made hay forts and ran across the tops of round bales. That sounds like a blast.
Oh, man, we just made forts out of blankets.
Yeah, blanket forts. We got a lot of blanket forts, too.
Steve said, pop can over the tire of a bicycle because we couldn't afford a dirt bike, so I made my bicycle sound like one. Yeah, the clunk, 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 clunk.
Okay, Steve says, my submission for the Poor Kid Toy Hall of Fame would be the springy doorstop that you use that are behind most doors. You can pull those bad boys back and
yeah. Now Ronnie mentioned the Legos because he said every day I made a new toy out of my Legos. Problem is nowadays though Legos are so friggin' expensive.
Yeah,
they're insane.
Annette says blankets and sheets for fort making, definitely.
Yes. All right. We've got rocks for shining, painting, and skipping. I used to love to skip rocks.
Definitely.
We used to have contests with each other all the time skipping rocks. That was part of the creek.
Jared said all you need is a simple can for Kick the Can. Absolutely.
Yeah, Kick the Can.
A couple of people texted in GoBots for the Poor Kids Toy Hall of Fame.
Oh.
Is the GoBots like the Great Value Transformer or
what?
The
OK Value Transformer.
OK Value, not Great Value. Okay, gotcha.
What was the last one that was mentioned before that? You said it.
Kick the Can.
Kick the Can. It always reminds me of White Man Can't Jump. I saw your mom kicking the can down the street the other day. I said, "What are you doing?" She said, "Moving."
John says a good old blade of grass boat races in the street after a rain.
Oh, I thought he was going to talk about whistling with the blade of glass.
Yeah, you could do that with a blade of grass.
That I was really good at.
Yes, absolutely. Now, Steve mentioned, and I completely forgot about this. This is a recovered memory, Steve, where you would roll the tire of your bicycle over a pop can, and the pop can would hang on to the tire, and then you just ride around and make all kinds of noise.
Yeah, he's the one who said he makes it sound like a motorcycle.
It was really cool. That was fun. We used to do that as well.
This one I hadn't done. Sheets, is it Visqueen? Visqueen?
I don't know what you're talking about.
For a slip and slide. It's like sheets of this slippery...
Oh, like plastic?
I'm guessing. I've never heard that. V-I-S-Queen. Visqueen? Visqueen?
I don't know.
But they use sheets of that to make their own slip and slide.
Very nice. We used to do those big sheets of thick plastic and go down sledding hills with it. It was nuts. It was so fun.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
You're like Clark Griswold down there with his super slick stuff from his company.
Exactly.
Sean said, I was so poor I had to play with my brother.
Aww.
He didn't have any toys, just his brother.
JD Marie says, what about jacks? We love jacks. A ball and jacks. Yeah, love those bad boys.
Pine cones were grenades, and if you find the perfect stick shaped like a gun, now you're playing war, said Dominic.
Mike Martin say loved his yo-yo. Yo-yos were amazing.
Man. Yeah, around the world and all
Especially
that stuff.
the ones that lit up. Remember that? They had the lights in them.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, those were fun.
That separated the poor from kids with the money.
Okay.
Oh, you got the lighted one. Oh, good for you. You know.
It's like when you're running around in your regular old sneakers and everybody else has Heelys. Like, all right, Richie Rich.
JJ said used Claymore mines. Like they'd already been a Claymore mine is a mine, but it was used. He said had at least a dozen laying around to play Army. Beat that.
Whoa.
Wow, man. Used Claymore mines. Okay. Jeez. Jason said paper airplanes. Oh, yeah. We used to make all kinds of paper airplanes.
Yes, and you thought you could really, like, tinker with the model a little bit, like bend up parts of it.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Twist the end.
Yeah.
Did you twist the end?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we got it to the point where, in school, they were doing unbelievable tricks throughout the classroom.
And on that note, how about the football, the triangle footballs?
Oh, man.
We play that
every day,
during lunch period.
Every day at lunch. In high school, every day. And then we would always sit by the table close to the activities window at Grove City High School. And then after we'd get bored just playing, so now we're trying to kick it
out
all the way through the activities window.
Oh, very nice.
That's where they sold different things, candy bars, pencils, whatever.
Yes, okay. Cindy said just plain jump rope. Very fun.
Tin cans for telephone.
Yes! And you'd put a string to it. Absolutely. This person said Lincoln Logs. We were po-po, and I don't know how many sets of Lincoln Logs they'd get. I loved Lincoln Logs. I thought that was a blast. I could always imagine myself living inside one of those Lincoln Log cabins.
Oh, one that you built? Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Somebody said as simple as just a laundry basket or a garbage can lid.
Exactly. Carolyn said we used to have Buckeye wars and throw the spiky Buckeyes at each other. We'd have dirt clod wars. We did that on construction sites near my cousin's house. We'd stand on these big dirt hills and throw giant rocks and dirt clods at each other.
We always had Army men, the little green Army men, and man, we would take it to the next level. We were using firecrackers and everything, blowing up piles of Army men.
Ooh, Jeremy brought up a good one, pencil fights.
Oh, yeah, we did those every day.
Yep.
Oh, my gosh. We had a pencil machine at Hilliard Junior High.
Okay.
Man, we must have, whoever owned that thing must have retired on us. Because we bought pencils out of that. They sold NFL pencils. And,
fun.
I would never use my Dallas Cowboys pencil because I wasn't risking it.
Gee, you had a fancy middle school, junior high.
Hilliard Junior High? Are you serious?
Everybody is texting in about Visqueen. Jeff says it's just rolled plastic. But it's just, maybe it's a brand name or something.
Oh, is that what they use? Is that like what the movers use to wrap your furniture to keep the drawers from coming out of your dresser and stuff? I think that's what that is. Then I know what that is.
Foul, I don't know if that's their name, but that's what it's listed as. Says penny hockey. They used to play penny hockey. Doug says nothing like swinging on a good sturdy chandelier for a good time.
Oh, jeez. Speaking of that, a tire and a rope, you got to swing.
Heck yes, you do.
All you need is a tire and a rope and a good tree, and you got yourself a swing. Yeah. So, well, that was fun.
Very fun. I love it. We were all so creative as kids.
Yeah, man. You had to figure out something.
That's right.
Well, thanks for all your response, everybody.
And now, all right, I'm listening. 3 things you need to know before you go.
A mother and her son have been indicted in connection with a deadly dog attack in Pickaway County. Grand jury handed down charges of involuntary manslaughter against Susan and Adam Withers. Authorities say they are responsible for the death of 73-year-old Joe Eckelbarger, who was gardening in her front yard last month when she was attacked and killed by the suspect's dogs. Both animals were put down. The mother and son, listen to this, the mother and son were also charged with having the dogs debarked. Have you heard of this?
No.
It is the surgical removal of part or all of a dog's vocal cords to reduce or silence the dog, which, by the way, Ohio Revised Code states that you are not allowed to do this if you know or have any reason to believe that your dog is dangerous. You're not allowed to debark or surgically silence a dog.
Wow.
Why you would do that, that is heinous. That's heinous to do that.
That is a dog's, dogs
disgusting.
Warn you, they communicate. That's crazy.
Oh, this really angered me, but especially because they know these dogs are dangerous. They have a history with these 2 dogs.
Yeah, so they should have their vocal cords removed.
Oh, well, yeah, I just feel like that's, some time.
The people who did it.
A little time in jail, maybe. I would never. Turnabout is not fair play in this case. But I understand the sentiment. It's really, really disturbing. A 47-year-old Toledo man, listen to this dummy, he is facing numerous felonies after being accused of stalking a woman and hiring a hitman to kill her. Court documents show Timothy Murphy is charged with multiple violations of protection orders. Okay, multiple orders. Knowing what this woman went through with this man, what he put her through for God knows how long. Multiple orders were filed. He violated multiple orders. Menacing, attempted murder, all those charges he's facing now. And I guess records are showing here that after Timothy Murphy tried to hire this hitman to kill the woman, the hitman texted the woman and said, "Hey, here's what's going on. This guy's trying to pay me to kill you, but I'm not going to take the job because you have a kid."
Wow.
So he warned her. He warned her what was happening with this guy. So, of course, she was able to turn that over as evidence, and they arrested this guy. He's in jail on $1 million bond.
How much was he charging?
He didn't say. The article did not say, how much he was offered.
Because I always say, you can get it done for like $20,000. There are probably guys out there do it cheaper.
Well, I don't know if I'd be advertising that on the radio, but I understand what you're saying.
No, I just mean, there's evil people out there.
It's wild. I mean, this guy had a change of heart when he found out she had a kid, so excellent. I'm glad he stopped it. All right.
What a good guy.
What a good guy.
he's a nice hitman.
The only reason I'm not going to kill you is because you have a kid.
That's a good hitman.
The Leonid meteor showers will peak this weekend, which who cares because it's going to be cloudy here. We're not going to see anything. But, they have these shooting fireballs whizzing across the sky. And if we did have clear skies, you would see about 15 meteors per hour on both Saturday and Sunday. But beside the clouds, we learned from Thick Rick earlier today that we have, just past a full beaver moon this weekend.
It was a cold November night. I was holding my honey tight, and she said she had something to show me to make me swoon. She took me outside and she showed me the beaver moon.
That is Buck Beavers and the Beaver Trappers.
All right. I sense a theme.
That's an old song right there.
All right. Those are your three things.